everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. I have to apologize. Making YouTube videos is not the easiest thing. I haven't been as consistent as I should, and I apologize for that. Okay, so today I'm here with Amrit.
Hello.
Amrit has been here before. My first video for the new year, she was here and she was amazing. So thank you again. I missed you all for all those months. And,
me too. Oh my
thank
God.
you for coming back.
Like school and then work.
Yeah. Thanks for coming back. Okay, so for today, it's been something that I've been meaning to talk about. So earlier this year, two things happened in my life, right? My relative, who was barely 2 years old, was sexually violated by one of her teachers in her school. Yes, it was so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Then on the same day, I got news that my friend passed, right? So he'd been sick for a while, but he didn't get like quick medical attention, so he got really ill and he passed, right? I was quite upset by that because from what I learned, that could have been an avoidable death, right? And being that I'm a public health person, I know these things, I was quite upset. So a few days after, I went on YouTube. Oh, sorry, YouTube. A few days after, I went on Instagram and I did a live Instagram video.
Yeah.
And I got talking about these two events and I was getting really emotional. So joining this live video was my friend who's a medical doctor. And seeing that I was getting emotional, she was getting upset about how, we, especially in Africa, we're ignorant about our health, right?
Yeah.
And she talked about how, we wait until our conditions get really critical before we go to the hospital. And yeah, and then she told me not to cry, that crying will not bring the person back, that she just lost a colleague and I should be strong, and people die every day. Now the things that she said to me that didn't sit well with me was, be strong, crying won't change the situation, people die every day, and she had just lost a colleague. Now this friend I'm telling you about had lost her father about a year ago, right? I lost my dad over 10 years ago, and the interesting thing about that is it became more difficult as I grew older. I didn't understand it when I was a lot younger, right? Telling me to be strong and not to cry didn't sit well with me because I did not understand how someone who suffered a loss can be telling me that.
I feel like everyone is different when they deal with losses, right? We all have an individual way to deal with them. But with her, she might have thought best was to not cry. That was her own personality, right? Her own character. But she cannot go to other people and say that you shouldn't cry, because for a lot of people, you need to cry. You need to let it out to be able to feel better. I actually lost my dad earlier this year in February, and for me, a lot of people were telling me, "Oh, you have to be strong. Don't cry." And then there were some that were being supportive in that sense that you need to let it out. I took the other's advice and said, you know what, I'm not going to cry because I have a family and whatnot. I need to be strong. What is strong? It's not being a rock, right?
Exactly.
Because we're human, you're not a rock. It builds up, which for me it did. And I decided to sit down and really let myself mourn, right? Cry, feel what I needed to feel, right? What was there, but I wasn't letting it through. And honestly, it felt a lot better. Not so much better, but it got a little bit easier to deal with.
So it really gets me thinking because people react differently to different things, right? When people are in pain or hurt, crying is a natural reaction. So you not crying doesn't make someone who's crying less stronger than you are.
Yes.
Right? So I think respecting my loss comes from being empathetic, being understanding, and even though you might not really feel what's going on with me, respect it, right? I think it's very insensitive for anyone, especially a doctor, to tell someone who's mourning that people die every day and crying will not bring that person back. I think it's very rude.
Extremely.
And it's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
So if you're a doctor who shares that line of thought, because you deal with
losses on
a daily, and you're beginning to think that way, that people shouldn't cry, I think it's just wrong. You should begin to change your mindset, because the truth is,
the person isn't even a person, right? To the other, whoever has lost them, it's a person that was a part of their life, a family, a friend, a husband, a wife, a sister, a brother, whatnot, right? You knew that person.
Yes, you don't even come to say, oh, someone has died, like you're coming to report the death of an aunt. I've dealt with nurses who are supposed to care for people. I've dealt with nurses who act like they don't even care. So just imagine that. So it's being understanding, having the emotional intelligence to deal with different kinds of people that actually takes you places. So even in starting relationships, sustaining relationships, these are things that helps you learning how to communicate with people, regardless of what you do. If you're a marketer, you're a banker, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you have to learn these skills. My brother is a doctor and he's very compassionate. In fact, I love him so much. He's so sweet, right? And I don't want to believe that this is how doctors are trained. I have dealt with a doctor who saw me crying and said, I don't, do these crocodile tears. Imagine a doctor, he was like in his 50s.
That's terrible.
He was like in his 50s. Imagine a doctor saying that to a patient, I don't do these crocodile tears. And I was very surprised that a doctor could say that.
I honestly feel like even if you don't feel the person's loss, right? Like, if you're not that, everyone has a different scale of emotion, right?
Yes.
That they respond to and understanding. And like, say if you really don't feel any empathy, nothing for someone, you still have to be emotionally intelligent enough
to know
how to deal with
that,
to communicate it in a way that's not rude or insensitive, right? And not making it worse for the other person at that moment, right? So even if you have no sympathy, no empathy at that moment, which I get, and not everybody is the same, right? Some people will be more empathetic than others, but you still have to have that emotional intelligence, as you were saying, right?
Have you ever got a funny reaction from people when you're suffering a loss, or have you ever felt disrespected by people,
or even supported, right?
Have you ever, like, in what ways have you been supported when you're mourning? Or in what ways have you felt disrespected when you're mourning? I would like to know. Would like to say a very big thank you. Thank you for watching this video.
Oh, I thought you were saying thank you to me.
Thank you for coming. Of course, thank you, babe.
I love you, woman.
I love you too. Please, would like your feedback. Comment on this video, like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel to see more videos. Would like to hear from you. On that note, we'll say thank you so much. Again. I'm Lola Black.
And I'm Amrit.
Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.